No DQ Galaxy, we are live with the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw for February the 7th, 2022. We have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, or excuse me, premium live event coming up in just about, a week from Saturday. We're getting very close already. We just had the Royal Rumble, and we have the Chamber premium live event coming up. Raw this week was on Sci-Fi, not the USA Network, due to the Winter Olympics coverage. We kicked off Raw with fireworks, and then we went straight to the Quiz Bro. Quiz Bro. I'm surprised Riddle didn't use that line. We had the quiz bowl between RkBro and the Alpha Academy, the tag team champions. And basically, they took turns answering trivia questions from various categories. And it was going back and forth for a while, but then RkBro missed one of the questions, and Alpha Academy stole it, and they were able to answer the question correctly. They were in the lead. The first team to get to 5 would be declared the winners. The Alpha Academy were right up there at 4, but then Chad Gable got a little bit too cocky. There was a question about Shakespeare. Otis knew the answer, but Gable insisted that he knew the correct answer. However, he was wrong. Chad Gable was wrong about the Shakespeare question, and I forgot what it was. Anyways, RkBro, they stole that question, and then for their final question, they had answered something about the Broncos, which was, of course, a reference to Denver, Colorado, which was where Raw was taking place this evening. And Randy Orton asked the fans for help with the Broncos question. They helped him out, and they got their question correct. However, since American Alpha, the Alpha Academy, whatever they're called, since they went first, they had the chance to win this right here. And their final question, the category was metric conversions. For whatever reason, Chad Gable chose that. We know why. It was for the joke, but he chose that, which seemed like the hardest category on the list. And the question was, how many grams are there in an ounce? Chad Gable needed a lot of concentration to figure this out. Crowd was yelling, making noise, and he ended up missing it. It went back over to RkBro, and Riddle was going to answer the question, but then Randy Orton cut him off and said, "You think you're the only one that bakes, bro?" And he said it's something like 28 grams in 1 ounce, and RkBro got the victory. They won the quiz bowl, whatever, and that means that they will get a tag team opportunity against Alpha Academy at some point. Segment was entertaining, went on for like 15 minutes, maybe even longer than that. By the way, no commercial breaks during the first hour of Raw this week due to the Sci-Fi move. We'll see if it helps WWE whatsoever, but would not shock me if they do a record low viewership. If they do anything above a record low, I would say that that's pretty good for moving to Sci-Fi. And they will be on Sci-Fi again next week for the Elimination Chamber Go Home show. After this was over, the buzzer kept going off, and Chad Gable was getting very upset about the buzzer. It was really bothering him. We then had the Street Profits arrive for a match against Alpha Academy, but they got jumped by Otis before the match even began. Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I guess Chad Gable doesn't like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, Chad Gable is a very sophisticated man, and he probably watched other things besides cartoons as a kid. He was probably watching sports movies and very intellectual type of programming when he was growing up. He is a man of education. And you do not boo education. Chad Gable has been great. He's really come into his own with these segments over the last several weeks. And to me, he's one of the highlights of Monday Night Raw these days. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. He says, hey, Aaron, what's your favorite premium live event? Well, I guess the Royal Rumble. Well, maybe day one. Was day one above the Royal Rumble? That might be a popular opinion. There's only been 2 premium live events if we're going by what WWE has officially referred to them as. Although one could argue that pretty much everything since the start of the WWE Network has been a premium live event, since they're available for $5 or $10, whatever. We had a tag team match, our first match of the evening, 24 minutes into Raw. Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. Match was pretty solid. Standard match here. And, with the bad guys getting the upper hand for a while. Dawkins got the hot tag. Things broke down. Ford did a big dive to Otis on the outside. Chad Gable put on the ankle lock to Dawkins. Dawkins attempted to escape, but Gable out-wrestled him, countered into a pinfall from the ankle lock, and scored the 1-2-3 victory. Chad Gable's doing well here. He's having a really solid run. Tag team champions. He's putting out some entertaining stuff. Feels like he's really getting into these challenges, although now we got the tag team title match coming up. We'll see if RK-Bro get the titles back, but maybe not. Maybe we have the breakup of RK-Bro. That remains to be seen. And as Mod W says, perhaps these segments are getting Chad Gable some brownie points with one Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Matt Helms says he likes the shirt. Thank you for that, Matt. I appreciate it. We had another therapy session segment with Alexa Bliss and her therapist, and he asked for the replica Lily back. Last week, Alexa was given the replica doll. Alexa gave it back, but she did cry in the process. Next match we had was AJ Styles versus Damien Priest. Interesting match to book. Like, Styles is in the Elimination Chamber. Priest is the United States champion, and really neither guy should be taking a loss at this point. It was a good match, back and forth here. Little cool moment where Styles hit the Pele kick, but Priest fell on top of Styles, and Styles barely kicked out of that. Styles went for the forearm. He got caught, and then he was able to hit it on a second attempt and picked up the 1-2-3 victory clean over Damien Priest. And I believe this was Damien Priest's second televised pinfall loss on the main roster. Kind of surprised about this, that Damien Priest would lose here, but ultimately Styles did need to pick up the win, since he was in the Elimination Chamber match, or is going to be in the Chamber match. I think that it was more crucial for Styles to win, but maybe they should not have booked this match in the first place. Just saying. Because Priest looks really weak coming off of this. They did announce that a title match will take place next week, which again is very odd, because Styles is going into that Chamber match, and Priest, I suppose he could retain the title, but then you make AJ Styles look weak going into the title match. Just weird where they're going with this. Maybe there's a bigger plan. Maybe this is going to be a WrestleMania match. Who knows? Good old JM Jeff Meacham is here. He sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I'm more exhausted than I thought. Going to hit the shower in bed. Looking forward to the Talk Wrestling simulcast tomorrow. Much love to the No DQ Galaxy. Take it easy, Jeff. We appreciate you stopping by, and he will be back with the Talk Wrestling episode coming up soon. That'll be after NXT on Tuesday night. Backstage, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens were chatting, and Rollins cannot believe that Owens lost to Austin Theory. Owens said he'll beat Theory on Raw and take the spot for the Elimination Chamber match. And Rollins said he would have Owens' back. Owens did not really believe Rollins, and Rollins told him that he does not lie. We had Miz TV at the end of the first hour going into the second hour. Special guests, the Mysterios. Ray was mad that the Miz cheated last week to beat Dominic. Miz said that, hey, people cheat. It happens. What matters is who gets their hand up at the end. Miz said that Beth Phoenix and Edge cheated. People like Eddie Guerrero cheat, and they get cheered, but Miz gets booed. He was very frustrated. He said that he outsmarted the Mysterios and said that he was cheated out of his Elimination Chamber opportunity. He said he's not on the posters. He's not on the WWE 2K cover. Rey Mysterio is, of course. And Maurice, who was out there, said that Rey Mysterio could learn something from her. Dominic said that Miz wants respect but doesn't show his father respect. And Miz responded to this by offering Dominic a rematch. And Miz then said that Dominic is a lot taller than Rey and asked Dominic, are you sure you're not Eddie's son? Of course, a reference to Eddie Guerrero, the storyline from 2015, I'm Your Pappy. Dominic was very upset about this. He shoved Miz down. And then we had a match after the first commercial break of the evening. Maurice tried to interfere. She got ejected by the referee, and while the referee was distracted, Rey Mysterio, grabbed Miz's foot, and then Dominic picked up the win with a roll-up. This was a very short match, like a 2-minute match, not much to it. Just a little bit of payback for the Mysterios, 50-50 booking, yada, yada, yada. We then had Bianca Bellaire versus Nikki Ash. The two of them are going to be in the Women's Elimination Chamber. Yes, we have a Women's Elimination Chamber match in addition to the men's match, with the winner facing the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch at, well, if Becky retains against Lita. Raw Women's Championship match for the winner of the Women's Chamber. Bianca Belair, Nikki Ash, two of the participants. And Nikki used the apron skirt to trip Belair. Belair was selling her leg. Eventually, she was able to make a comeback, and she pinned Nikki with the KOD. Match was fine. I mean, Nikki is not really a contender at this point, so it just builds up Bianca Belair all that more, but not much else was accomplished here. And then backstage, and by the way, there's a mystery spot in that Women's Elimination Chamber match. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Asuka? Is it going to be Bayley? I suppose we'll find out soon enough. One would think it's going to be one of them. Maybe Lacey Evans. We'll see. We had Dana Brooke with Reggie backstage. Dana Brooke is still the 24/7 title, and I still do not care about this storyline. She thanked Reggie for helping him out all these weeks, and she gave him a little kiss on the cheek. When he asked what that meant, she said it just means that they are really good friends. And then there was a little tease that maybe they would kiss on the lips. But then R-Truth, Tozawa, Tamina chased them away. And I guess we'll see if there's going to be an eventual romance between Dana Brooke and Reggie. And I do not care about this. I have little to no interest in this storyline. So we move on here. Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. Austin Theory has new music, and if people did not tell me this on Twitter, I would have had no idea that he even had new music because his old music was generic. His new music is generic. It sucks. I wish Jim Johnston. Hell, I wish CFOs would come back. The music is crap. And it's gotten to the point where I hear the music and I have no idea who's coming out. Not a good sign. Anyways, rematch from last week because it's Monday Night Raw. We do rematches. Austin Theory was showing a little bit of ruthless aggression, but did not work out for him too well. He tried to slam Owens on the steel steps like he did last week, but he was unsuccessful this time. Match went back and forth for a bit. Owens went for a swanton, but Theory got his knees up, and then Theory was going to try to finish off Owens, but Owens caught him with a super kick and then hit the stunner, picked up the 1-2-3 victory. Does that mean Kevin Owens gets the opportunity and takes Austin's spot? Well, we'll get to that here in a few minutes. Backstage, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle were talking about their tag team title match. Orton gave Riddle some advice about the Elimination Chamber. Riddle said that when he wins the chamber and they win the tag team titles, he'll have the opportunity to become a double champion in WWE. We then had Lita come into the ring for a promo, and she talked about the Royal Rumble, said that she has been wanting a match with Becky Lynch for a long time, and that led to Becky Lynch coming out there. What a shock, interrupting the promo. Nobody saw that coming. And Becky talked about how Lita was her teenage idol. She worshipped Lita, and Lita was one of the few people that saw something in her when she got to WWE. She's eternally grateful. However, now that Becky Lynch has arrived, there can be no Lita. And Becky said that Lita is trying to take the most important thing away from Becky. Not Becky's kid, but the Raw Women's Championship. And while Lita helped bring Becky up, Becky will have no problem bringing Lita down. And Lita responded by saying that she has no problem being the underdog. She hasn't had a title shot in 15 years, but the WWE fans still support her. And as long as they're around, there will always be a Lita. And she said that she will walk out of Elimination Chamber as a 5-time women's champion. Becky said that's cool. The people are all Lita will ever have. A big fight broke out, and Becky had the initial upper hand, but then Lita was able to hit the twist of fate, which I must say was a better twist of fate than the one that Lita gave to Charlotte a few weeks back. And then Lita, for good measure, hit the moonsault and picked up some momentum heading into Elimination Chamber. Pretty good segment here. Not bad. I liked it. Nice build for the pay-per-view. No real issues. Backstage, Kevin Owens met with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Sonya's arm was in a sling from the whole Naomi match stuff that went down. And Owens was told no, he will not be taking Austin Theory's spot. Austin Theory already got it, so why do that match then? You just made Austin Theory look weak. Where are they going with this? They said that Owens might not even be around for WrestleMania. He needs to watch himself. Owens was like, he needs WrestleMania. The people of Texas need him to be at WrestleMania, and he asked them to think about things. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. Mr. Anderson with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, since Kevin Owens loves Texas, will the WWE fans in Dallas, Texas riot if Kevin Owens is not on the WrestleMania 38 card? I don't think they'll riot. I mean, people say they'll cancel WWE Network and they never do. Kevin Owens, I like the idea of trying to say that, but hell, even if Steve Austin was taken off the card, I don't think that people would riot even back during the Attitude Era. Well, maybe 98 or 99. The roster was so thin then, and Austin was just a league above everybody else. But Owens, I'm pretty sure they would not riot. I'm pretty sure there's nobody that is on the current WWE roster that misses WrestleMania and the crowd riots. Just don't see that scenario. But you know what? Owens has got to do what he's got to do to protect his spot at WrestleMania, so we can have KO Mania 6 or 7 or whatever it is now. We had Liv Morgan versus Dewdrop, and I believe they're both in the Women's Elimination Chamber. Don't quote me on that, though. Liv was trying to figure out a way to beat the powerhouse. Dewdrop was using her power. Liv did make a brief comeback, hit a springboard drop kick, but her momentum was short-lived, and Dewdrop won with the Banzai Splash. Unfortunately, the problem with booking this match is that Dewdrop already lost to Becky Lynch, and we all know Dewdrop's not getting another opportunity. So you just made Liv Morgan look weak, losing to the person that lost to Becky Lynch. Match doesn't really do much to get me interested in the Women's Chamber match. Yeah, kind of a filler segment. Did nothing for me. And then we had another therapy segment. And yes, they did change Liv's music. That was done several weeks ago. It's even more generic than it was before. Alexa Bliss was talking with her therapist, and she talked about these examples of controlling her anger. The therapist said it's progress, but then Alexa brought up how there was this hideous person at a grocery store, and this person looked just like Lily. And she said she was able to control her anger. And then the therapist said that there's still more work that needs to be done. All right, then. And, people are talking about how Alexis has more normal looking clothes with every week. So maybe this is a sign she's going back to the old Alexa. I don't know, but I'm bored with it. I'm ready to move on. And then we had our main event. Well, what we thought was going to be our main event of the evening, Seth Rollins versus Riddle. First time ever. Riddle got the power bomb into the barricade, kind of what I believe it was the same move that Finn Balor got hit with and injured him back at SummerSlam in 2016. Riddle was able to make the comeback, and he sent Rollins to the outside, hit the floating bro, but then Kevin Owens attacked Riddle, causing a disqualification. Matt Riddle was double teamed. Cue Randy Orton. He ran down, and holla, holla, holla. You guys know the drill here. You know what happens. This type of segment is done to death. We had the commercial break, and during the commercial break, Adam Pearce made this a tag team match. You guys, you've watched my live streams. You know what comes next here. Letter grade down. I'm just so bored with these segments. They did a tag match and pretty standard stuff here. They worked over Riddle for a while. Orton got a hot tag, and then things broke down. Riddle tagged back in, and Rollins pinned him with the curb stomp. Afterwards, Randy Orton hit Owens with the RKO to get the pop and send the fans home happy. But for a main event, I thought this was pretty lackluster, just by the numbers. Mr. Anderson with a $5 super chat says, could see Ronda Rousey or Alexa Bliss be in the 6th woman in the Raw Elimination Chamber match. It ain't going to be Ronda Rousey. I mean, it could be Alexa Bliss, but my gut feeling is it's going to be Asuka. Maybe Bayley, but we'll wait and see. I would suspect it's Asuka or Bayley, though. Like, if they're doing the mystery spot and it's not one of them, they're going to set things up for a lot of people being disappointed. But yeah, I agree with Walter. I really think Bianca's got to win this. Like, if you want to have a strong main event, if it's not Asuka or Bayley in it, I think you got to have Bianca win. Even if it's one of them, I still think you got to go with Bianca winning and do Becky versus Bianca. Just my opinion. So overall, sci-fi, first hour, no commercials, whatever. Doesn't really affect me one way or another. Show was okay. Letter grade wise, I'd give it like a C minus. The only segments I would recommend checking out, and again, if it's your thing, the opening segment with Chad Gable, the quiz, that was fun. You know, these segments have been entertaining. Chad Gable has really shined in them. You know, it might not be your cup of tea, so you could skip that if you're just not into those segments. And the Lita Becky promo was pretty good. The matches were okay, but very run-of-the-mill, standard. And of course, the main event was whatever. So yeah, C minus. Would not recommend this Raw though. I definitely think it's one you could skip and you would not miss much. Psycho Jet Black with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, seriously, if The Rock and Ronda Rousey are not available by WrestleMania next year, what will WWE's plan be for Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns? I'm almost certain that Ronda Rousey will be at WrestleMania in Hollywood. I would be shocked if she's not there. I do expect her to be there unless she's injured or something else happens or she quits beforehand. You never know, but I would think she's going to be there. The Rock, I mean, I'm sure they're talking about it now, and we'll see. That could go either way, 50-50. Who knows at this point? I would not be shocked if it doesn't happen. I hope it happens, but I definitely don't think that that's a slam dunk unless The Rock has sworn to Vince that he'll be available for it. Who knows? But yeah, this was kind of a boring Raw. It was all right at times, but just felt like, hey, we're on Sci-Fi. We're not going to really put much into it. But next week, Brock Lesnar will show up. Maybe they'll do more on the final show before Elimination Chamber, or maybe he'll just come out, cut a promo, and leave. Who knows? All right, guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate your viewership and support. And if you liked the video, please give it a like on YouTube. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest news and rumors and opinions, all that stuff over at NoDQ.com. Enjoy your week. We got a lot of content coming up this week. We got Dynamite with a big debut. Tony Khan is hyping up a top wrestler debuting on Dynamite. I will be back Wednesday night to recap the show, and we'll see who that top wrestler is. No DQ review on Thursday night, and then SmackDown Friday night. And I believe they're taping 2 SmackDowns on Friday. Spoilers should be up on No DQ Friday night, Saturday morning. Take care, guys. Enjoy your week, and I will see you all next time. And don't forget, say yes to NoDQ.com.